by the company we Hi there, my name is Teresa Engelhardt, and I want to welcome you to the Unreasonably Grateful podcast, Living in Grace by Joyce. It's another week, and once again, I'm going to say I welcome you. Thank you for being here. I'm so grateful that we're on this journey together. You know, I say this every week that people come here through lots of different ways. Somebody tells them about a particular episode, or they know me through another expression in my life, perhaps, or sometimes I pop into their feed line and maybe they have no relationship whatsoever with myself or my family. And yet, I just want you to trust yourself that you're here, that it's perfect, that I'm grateful that you matter. And, you know, what we're doing in this particular podcast is I'm sharing tidbits of wisdom that I've gleaned over my now 40-year journey of recovering from dealing with sexual abuse as a teenager and then living with an eating disorder for 20 years. This is my 40th year of recovery, which I'm very grateful for. And every week I meet people that have something to tell me from their story that makes a difference in my life. And so I'm showing up to share with you in the hopes that you'll hear something that'll make a difference in your life, because I do believe we're traveling in this life together, and that the goal is to become the best version of ourselves. So I heard something today, a couple of things. So I was listening to Father Mike Schmitz on Hallow, and he was telling a story in one of his homilies, and he was telling a story. The title of it was something about becoming a saint. And he was saying the big regret in life, the biggest regret in life would get to the end of our life and not have become saintly. And his definition of saintly was being the best version of ourselves, being who we were actually created to be. And I believe that this is what we're doing here, is we're actually supporting one another in becoming who we were created to be, not the default character that perhaps most of us have become in the process of avoiding wounds, hurts, healing from wounds and hurts, and hoping that we never make the same mistakes again, or listening to the judgments, criticisms of other people and stepping into those as if that's who we are, rather than the divine qualities that we're imbued with from the formation of who we are from the very beginning of our life. So that's what we're up for today. And then another thing I heard, which I'm going to share more about the first one later, which is silence magnifies and waiting purifies. And I got to really thinking about that. Now I'm dealing, if you've been listening for a while, my sister and I are walking through this journey together of her healing from a cancer diagnosis. She just completed her first round. She did a beautiful job, so brave, so courageous, amazing. And she's on her 7-day break before she starts the second round. And it's been wonderful. Even though she says, I feel like kind of guilty about being here and having you support me and help me when I don't feel like I need that much help yet. And I'm like, hey, that's great. I'm so grateful for the time that we've had together. And I'm so grateful that you're not sicker than you are. And part of it is she's just walking through this so beautifully. And so I hope it keeps going this way. I hope it goes this way until she doesn't need support, until she's healed. And of course, we're never going to know until we get there. But I noticed that in the waiting, like in the waiting for the 7-day break, I was hopeful that it was going to really feel like a break. And I'm grateful that it is. This is day 2, and she does feel like she has a break. But what I notice in waiting, it's like if you look at it, whether you're waiting in line, it tests your commitment to actually for what you're going to get at the head of that line. Or if you're waiting to graduate, it tests your commitment for what's coming ahead. And I heard this story about a man who was had applied for medical school. He wanted to become a doctor. And in the waiting, He was working with nurses as a assistant, and he found that he loved nursing. He loved the nurses that he worked with, that he loved the interaction. He loved what he was doing. And he actually ended up becoming a nurse, not a doctor. And so the waiting actually purified what it was he was going to do with the rest of his life. And I think as I wait, I'm in the process of waiting for my confirmation. And it does, it like has you, it tests you, it has you get, or it tests me, it has me get really clear on my intention and really clear on my commitment. You think about people who get engaged and then they're waiting to get married, and there's that time of expectation and testing and um, purifying. It purifies what we're stepping into. And I think that's such a valuable lesson, because so oftentimes I think in today's world, we live with this instant gratification. We don't want to wait for anything. I mean, look at, I don't know, I think when Amazon first started delivering packages, it was like a week. And then it was like 4 days, 3 days, 2 days. You can even get stuff the same day now, which is pretty crazy. And it's like we've become so impatient with ourselves and with other people. And so this week, what I want us to take on is to actually delve into the waiting times in our life and see if we can't discover what's actually being purified. Trusting that in the waiting, it isn't that nothing's happening. No, it's that something powerful is happening. There's a purification process going on as we wait before we step into what's next. And if you look at your life, I think you'll discover that waiting is woven into our day to day lives in a very beautiful way. And yet, so often we want to skip over the waiting and just get to the event or the arrival or the outcome or the counter or the front of the line or whatever it is. And so I want to encourage you this week to not push the waiting, but to let yourself enjoy and dive into and experience the amazing power that comes when we wait for whatever may be the next step in our life. So let that purification process really purify and prepare yourself, myself, ourselves for the next step or phase or event in our life. Okay? Dive into that this week. Enjoy the waiting. Let yourself be purified. I'll be here next week, and I can't wait to see you then. Have a beautiful week of purification. We shall learn to lead in the